GF neglected my daughter due to her hospital fear. I, 22 meters, was at work yesterday when my daughter, 4F, fell off a swing. She got a concussion. My girlfriend, 21F, called the ambulance. The ambulance wanted to take my daughter to the closest hospital, a hospital that she avoids like the plague. She believed they killed her great-grandmother there by neglect. Her entire family believes this. This was 30 years ago. She wasn't even born yet, but this is a huge deal in her family, so she shares the fear of that hospital. Literally everyone, 30+ people, all hate this hospital. They sued them and everything. I can't stress the fear and bad memories they have about it. My GF refused the ambulance transportation. She said they even got into an argument about it. Instead of letting them take her, she got in the car and drove her to the family's usual hospital almost an hour away. I love my GF and I know she is the one. I've been planning on proposing next year. However, I'm at odds with this. I understand she has this phobia, but I'm extremely mad and I can't get past it. I'm on the verge of breaking up with her, but I don't want to do something that I might regret later. Extra details. My girlfriend is not my daughter's birth mother. She is absent. Me and my GF have been dating for 2 years and all 3 of us live together. Was this a red flag? Edited to add. I am not defending her, but my GF and her family's reasoning is if you go to that hospital you won't get adequate care. I didn't mean to make it sound like she is scared of that hospital like it's the boogeyman. They're scared of the care that's given. They think the doctors is extremely neglectful, and if you go in for treatment there you might not make it out. From what I understand, her grandmother was fairly okay when she went in and was given a medication. However, soon she kept complaining about not feeling right on the meds and needing to see a doctor. They dismissed her concerns and things went bad. Yes, that is irrational, and I'm going to give you some perspective on this. I was once babysitting my niece, who was 5 at the time. She was playing in the kitchen while I was cooking, tripped, fell and cracked her head on the side of an open cabinet. I immediately realized it needed medical attention and rushed her to the closest hospital and sat with her until my brother arrived, while pretending not to have one of the most dissociative panic attacks I've ever had, because 4 months prior at that same hospital, 3 rooms from where I was sitting with my niece, my son was declared dead. Getting my niece, a small child, medical attention was more important than my comfort at that moment and overrode everything else. Because I assure you, with every fiber of my being up until that moment, I swore I was never stepping foot in that hospital again. Getting a child medical care comes over the adult's comfort. Full stop. All phobias, fears and whatnot go out the window in a medical emergency. What if your daughter had an anaphylactic reaction to a bee sting? Think about that. Would she have refused the ambulance? What if that concussion knocked her out? Would she have refused that hospital? This would be a deal breaker for me. She handled this extremely poorly and put your child in danger. What is the line? Say you have a heart attack. Knock on wood that doesn't happen. Would she accept you to be taken there? What if your daughter had a seizure? What is the line where it's acceptable to her to use the local facility? I get that she's scared, but it's you and your daughter's lives that we are talking about. She risked a child's health and possibly life by willfully delaying medical intervention with zero good reason. Even if poor grandma was outright murdered in that hospital, case closed, all perpetrators punished. That was 30 years ago and everything has changed. I'd be wary about someone this delusional being in charge of a child. If there was more harm than a bump on the head, that child could have died en route. Your girlfriend delayed medical care for your child over an irrational fear. As if there hasn't been a complete turnover in hospital staff in 30 years. What if your daughter had a brain bleed or started seizing from her fall? The delay could have had catastrophic results. She should have either just let the ambulance take her or called you and let you decide whether or not to let the ambulance take her to that hospital. Your girlfriend didn't have the legal right to make medical decisions for your child. I don't know that I could forgive this or trust her with a kid again. Can I ask why this wasn't discussed before? When she told you about her inherited trauma, did it not come up the question of what would she do if you ever needed to go there? I would never trust her with a child again. Yes, it's a red flag. GF is not to be trusted with children. I understand this because I just lost my dad due to what we believe was hospital negligence. My dad died from a TBI, and the sudden death this caused has traumatized me. I'm a nervous wreck with my children hitting their heads now, as I know how incredibly fast a brain bleed can kill someone. Her driving an hour away to a different hospital with my child would be end game for me. Timing is critical, especially for children with head injuries. I understand she feels like she was doing what she felt was best, but this could have ended very differently. I'm going to jump on the boat that she didn't neglect your daughter because she still got her to a hospital and it wasn't life-death. Also, my family is full of nurses. We avoid certain hospitals that are extremely dangerous to patients. My family has seen doctors kill patients because of the doctor's addiction and the hospital allowing it, hiding it. So your girlfriend is watching your daughter that isn't hers? Sorry, but this sounds like something you should have talked about before you left your child in her care. You could have avoided this with proper planning and asking questions. Yeah, this phobia is weird, but it sounds like you already knew about it before this incident. I don't think choosing a different hospital would make a difference over a concussion, as they would probably make you wait at the hospital anyway. I feel like you also have to see her perspective. If she thinks the care in this hospital is bad, she wouldn't want to take her own daughter there. You would want the best for your child at all times. Now, depending on your daughter's injury, this might not be important and you should take her to the nearest place. But, for a concussion, I don't think being an hour early was needed. I think the fact that she drove an hour to take your daughter to a hospital says a lot already. I would not hold this over her, but I would talk to her about what to do in future situations like this one. Maybe she needs therapy to overcome her fears. I think this is a good moment to sit down and calmly talk about this to her. As if you plan to keep her in your life. This situation might happen often. Kids are little demons. Good luck, heart. This is going to be an unpopular opinion, but she sought medical help, so she didn't really neglect her. I'm also a paramedic, and honestly I would have told her they should go to the ER, but would be totally comfortable letting a family member drive her to the ER. There is no immediate danger with a concussion. If EMS checked her out and her vital signs were stable, it's a wait and watch situation for days, not hours. I wouldn't take my dog to the hospital closest to me. I take my kids to one that's 30 minutes further away, but I trust them. She took your kids to a hospital she trusts. That's not a red flag. I doubt if there was a life-altering emergency she would delay care for your child for an hour. She still got her to a hospital. And it sounds like she saved you a hefty ambulance bill. I'm playing devil's advocate here. She did what she thought was best for your daughter. That being said, if it had been something truly life-threatening, it could have ended badly. Have a talk with her. Explain to her that no matter what her issues are with that particular hospital, if your daughter needs emergency care, that she needs to go to the closest hospital, even if that means going to the one she hates. Read the current reviews for the place, maybe that will help her see reason. It's been 30 years. Surely it's not still awful. It's been 30 years since whatever happened to Grandma. Very few medical staff from that time, if any, are still there, and the hospital is still fully functioning, meaning that they haven't been closed for poor care. This was an extremely poor decision by your GF, based on something that happened before she was born. I'm not sure if I would be able to get past her making a decision being based not on the best thing for your daughter, but on some old-time family superstition thing. What if your daughter had a brain hematoma? I don't know what to tell you, except that you should probably not leave your daughter in your GF's care, or you will just be worried all the time. It's not a red flag, I don't think. Your daughter definitely needed a hospital, and you GF took her to one. She believes the hosp closer to you is not safe for your daughter. I'm sure it's irrational, but it's what she believes. She didn't neglect your daughter as you suggest. She actually did more work. Drove an hour to get her to a hospital THST she thought would provide better care. I think that a good thing. Except you guys need to work on her irrational fear over time. She endangered the life of your daughter for something that might have happened 30 years ago. The medical staff has changed by now, and if you found her treatment unsatisfactory, you could have left AMA. The important thing was getting urgent medical treatment for your daughter at once. An ambulance would have gotten your daughter to the hospital quickly. Plus, you can ask for a different hospital, sometimes not an hour away, but perhaps another one that is nearby, say 510 minutes away. I did this recently when my mom had a minor heart attack. They couldn't take her to my preferred hospital, and the closest is terrible, but they offered another one 5 minutes away that was absolutely fine. The insurance transferred mom once she was stable. Look, my grandpa had a hernia removed at a local hospital back in the late 70s. The hospital didn't just patch the hernia, they sewed his bowels shut. He went septic, and before they figured out what happened, he died. My grandmother still went to that hospital when she needed surgery. She said one bad doctor or one bad call can't dictate the rest of the medical staff. The doctor who performed Grandpa's surgery was fired, lost his license. My dad had his stroke and was in that hospital, had the best care ever. There was another hospital by me that years ago people said they wouldn't even take their dog there. Now it's been revamped, new staff, updated equipment, and is one of the top hospitals around. Things change over the years. New equipment, new policies are made. They improve on mistakes from the past. Since it sounds like you don't want to give up on your GF just yet, then I guess an easy solution is to live somewhere else so that the nearest hospital that you or your daughter ever would need in an emergency while you're in this area is not this hospital. Did the paramedics determine if a neck brace was needed? If they determined it was not needed, what would be the issue with taking her to the preferred hospital? Generally speaking, when triaging patients, a concussion is low priority in the ER unless the person has other symptoms. This means you could be waiting for hours to be seen, in which case being seen at the preferred hospital makes a lot of sense. I kinda understand where she was coming from. She probably wanted to take your kid to a better hospital and have better care. Yeah, it's nice, but not in an urgent situation. If she understands her mistake, it's okay. If she thinks she did a right thing, you can't trust her with your child. She's like literally dumb and puts herself first.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.